G'day, Matt from Green and Gold Rugby here, just to talk through a few elements from last weekend's victory by the Wallabies over Italy in Florence. Now, since the weekend, the Wallabies have copped a fair bit of flack about what seemed to be their inability to execute well and finish off the attacking moves that they'd started. For some people, this is proof that the team really hasn't developed, but to me, on second viewing of the game, what it actually looked like was this was a team who were probably trying to put behind them the losses of the previous week and maybe trying to do this in a little bit of a rush. And maybe what it meant was they weren't necessarily making the right decisions or the best decisions on those last passes. And I've got a few of those examples here now. In this first clip, we see that Nathan Sharp manages to get a great offload away, but Rocky doesn't follow it up so well. If we stop the play here, we can actually see that Rocky could quite easily have taken the number 9 with him, and we can see that Parase's already committed himself, and so quite easily Drew Mitchell probably could have got on an outers line here, and we could have been away. In this next clip, we've got a couple of nice inside balls, but one of them's obviously forward from Rocky. In fact, if yet again he'd just taken that beat and not tried to get the ball away as quickly as he could, the next man onto the ball, Rob Simmons, was in a fantastic position, and he had backup behind him. James Slipper would have been taking the defence with him going forward, and there could have been some very good attacking play off that. This next clip we probably all remember for the knock-on from Berwick Barnes. But actually my question here is, was Berwick the right man to take it at all? He's fairly well marked and he's not known as the biggest crash ball runner in the world anyway, whereas if you look outside him, you've got what's developing into a 3-on-2 or maybe even a 3-on-1. And really, my question is, was he the right man to have this ball thrown to him in the first place? In this next situation, I probably would question Berwick's decision making. The Wallabies here have got a nice 6-on-4 and have actually got themselves arranged in a really interesting attacking formation where they can either go wide quickly or have the options for a number of different sort of inside plays. Instead, Berwick takes it that little bit too far and throws a pass that Nathan Sharp is just never going to be able to handle. In this situation, Rocky makes a fantastic run. But where his instinct here is to draw his man and then connect out wide, again, I think just waiting that extra beat, if you see that the man coming through here is Drew Mitchell on the shorter ball, he would have been virtually unstoppable straight to the line with no one marking him, and if he needed, Ben Alexander outside. Here's the by now famous cheeky run from Drew Mitchell where he splits the defence down the middle and then links back up with his support. The ball gets to Berwick here. For mine, the best thing he could do here is to step off the right, go back towards that hole where he's then got Ashley Cooper on his inside shoulder and at worst the rest of the forward pack. Instead, we see a Hail Mary pass to try and get the ball out wide and the ball goes to ground. And then one final example where Quade Cooper's made a little half break. And here, just the difference a split second would make if he just held this ball. Watch the line that Kurtley Beale's running. If he'd got this ball to Kurtley Beale, Beale was under the post. Instead, again, we go wide and actually the ball gets intercepted and the play breaks down. As the saying goes, hindsight's 20/20. But as we saw, there's a common thing that occurred in just about every one of those instances, and that's in the Wallabies pushing a pass to go wide and try and kill a move, whereas actually holding the ball for that extra beat and looking for not just the first cab off the rank, but the best cab off the rank is actually the best decision. I think this is actually an element of composure that if the Wallabies can get right, can make a massive difference. And we could see that even this weekend because they're making the opportunities, massive opportunities as we just saw there. They just need to finish them in a slightly different way. Next, I wanted to touch on the fairy tale of James Slipper, who in just his second professional rugby start was up against the monster and mighty Martin Castrogiovanni, acknowledged as one of the best tight head props in the world. And I think the script that we all know, I guess, is how Castrogiovanni played a bit of a number on him and managed to milk quite a few penalties by boring in and making it look like Slipper was dropping the scrum. Now we all know that the ref finally caught up with the Italian tight head and pinged him in the second half for what he'd been doing consistently throughout the first half. But there's a scrum here that you may not have seen. It actually also happens early in the second half, before the penalty that we just saw. And I believe what it shows is that the young prop managing to get his top of his spine underneath Castrogiovanni, thereby forcing him out of the scrum. And although it's not a great angle, if that's correct, then it shows how the young guy managed to actually get one on over the master and it not be all his own way. James didn't just show some promise in the scrum, but as these defensive stats showed, also managed to contribute along with some of the older hands. Add to these stats the run count, and here you can see how Rocky's newfound aggression in the game really brought to bear on the numbers as well. A few action shots of the new boy now, and here I love how after doing this run he doesn't try and make a miracle pass, but rather just a simple pop. Here he's on hand to snaffle a ball, and then we see a couple of textbook tackles to finish things off.
Plenty of work to do at the back. Taken by Slip.